What's up everybody, Farmer Q here, and today we're going to talk about a few things to make hydroponics a little bit easier for you. I know that there's a lot that goes into hydroponics, but today we're going to try to scratch the surface of that just a little bit. So the first thing to talk about today is preparing our plants. With hydroponics, there are a few different options to get plants started. The first option that we have is rock wool. This is a good option for growing into hydroton clay pebbles or pea gravel. And rock wool cubes are typically the thing used to actually start seeds in hydroponics. The second option that we have is peat pellets. This is a great option for growing into coconut coir, or if you want more seed establishment before you actually plant your plant into the coconut coir. And lastly, we have coconut coir. Yeah, I know we just talked about growing into coconut coir, but you can actually start your seeds in coconut coir as well. Even though this is a growing medium, it's equally as good for starting seeds. The next thing we're going to talk about to try to make this whole hydroponics thing a little bit easier is mixing the nutrient solution. The nutrient solution is key to ensuring proper growth through the growing process. There's a few different formulas for the progressive growth throughout a plant's life. Matching the correct formula with the correct phase of growth results in explosive growth throughout the whole growing process. Typically, you'll start off with a grow formula and you'll finish out with a bloom formula. And in between the two phases of using these two formulas, you're going to go with a half and half mixture of those two formulas. An example of this is the week of your plants transitioning from vegetative growth to flowering growth. You're going to want to half the grow nutrients, you're going to want half the bloom nutrients. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the technical aspects of what lets us be able to identify what's inside of our mixture. Measuring parts per million and measuring pH. Think about parts per million as the fractional amount of whatever's inside of the solution, and think about pH as a directional arrow to determine plant availability within the solution. Parts per million is a direct representation of how much of something is inside of your solution. And this is a great way to see how strong your nutrients are for your plants before you apply them. An example of this is if you have 1,000,000 drops of water and you get a measurement of 600 parts per million, that means that 600 of those 1,000,000 drops of water is whatever you put inside that solution. That might be nitrogen, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, whatever you added into that solution, that's the representation of it. pH is the representation of hydrogen ions in comparison to the concentration of hydroxide ion. If a solution is acidic, that means that it has a higher amount of hydrogen ions in comparison to hydroxide ions. And if a solution is basic, that means it has a higher comparison of hydroxide ions in comparison to hydrogen ions. And obviously that means if the solution is neutral, we have a balance of our hydrogen ions and our hydroxide ions. I know that's a little bit much to take in, but stick to me till the end and you'll see an easier way to digest what I just said. Most hydroponic solutions have a pH of 5.5 to 6.5, and the ppms usually increase as plants mature. For every 1 point increase or decrease in pH in the solution, that represents the solution being 10 times more acidic or 10 times less acidic. So yes, 1 point increase in pH means that your solution is 10 times more basic, and vice versa, 1 point decrease means that your solution is 10 times more acidic. So yes, it's a good thing that we have these smaller numbers to represent a large movement on the scale. I hope y'all enjoyed learning a few things that would make hydroponics easier. We scratched the surface today, but if you want to go into a deep dive of what we talked about today, look for the corresponding live stream with the week that this video is released. We're going to get into it. And I hope to see y'all there in the lion's den. Let's get it.